Hello viewers, welcome to the Editorial Analysis by Dristhi IAS. In this section, we regularly take editorials from various newspapers and news portals for a better understanding of various issues happening in India and around the globe. Dear viewers, in this section, we first try to link the editorial with our UPSC syllabus. Then we go analytical in order to understand some key points and at last some important concepts. Dear viewers, we truly hope that you like this initiative taken by Drishti IAS and your feedbacks are important for us. So kindly feel free to give your important feedbacks in the comment section. So without any further delay, let's commence our session.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
Today's editorial is taken from the Indian Express published on 28th of December 2020. The title of today's editorial is New Britain. If we try to link today's editorial with our UPSC syllabus, we can link it with GS Paper 2, which has sections that include polity, constitution, governance, and primarily with the section that includes international relation. If we try to summarize today's editorial, we can say that Brexit deal will lead to rearrangement of United Kingdom's foreign economic policy and international relations. Also, it offers a tremendous opportunity for India. Some key points from today's editorial. The Christmas Day Agreement on new terms of trade between Britain and its largest economic partner, the European Union, is unlikely to please everyone in Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Conservative Party, but a majority is expected to back him, with the Labour Party already supporting the new framework as a welcome alternative to a no-deal hard Brexit from the European Union. The deal is expected to be ratified by the British Parliament this week. Now, viewers, we all know that there was a referendum known as Brexit. Now, about Brexit, we will know in detail in the later half of the session. But as we all know that the agreements between the Britain and European Union has happened. Now, what exactly the deal is? See, the United Kingdom and the European Union, they have finally agreed a deal that will define their future relationship. Now, like we know, ever since the United Kingdom left the European Union on 31st of January, on 31st of January 2020, United Kingdom, it left the European Union. So since January 31st, 2020, both sides have been talking about what the new rules of trade and other important things should be. Now, what exactly do we have to know about the deal that has happened? Now, the deal that has been signed between Britain and the European Union on Christmas Eve, it contains new rules for how the United Kingdom and European Union will live, work and trade together. Some of the important aspects of the deal, they are: number one, no tax on each other's good when they cross borders. See, there shall be no tax on any good, like from either side, whether coming from European Union or going from United Kingdom. There shall be no tax when the borders are crossed. Also, no limit on the amount of things which can be traded. Now, this has been termed as quota. See, there is no limit to only this much amount can be traded from one place to another. There shall be no such quota imposed on the things that are being traded. Now, if I'm speaking about the tariffs, they are with reference to the taxes, and quota, they are with reference to that of the limit of the goods that are being traded. Quite important for you to understand. See, two important things, like first, tariff, it is with reference to the taxes, and quota, it is with reference to the quantity of the item that is being traded, right? So, tariff-free and quota-free access to one of the world's biggest market is the backbone of Brexit deal, and goes beyond the European Union deals with Canada or Japan. Now, if we speak about the trade between both the countries, there will be mutual recognition of trusted trader programs. This means United Kingdom producers will have to comply with both the United Kingdom as well as the European Union standards. Very important to see that when we are speaking about trade, so there has been a mutual recognition between both the partners, that is United Kingdom and European Union. It is also to be noted that the producers from United Kingdom will have to comply the standards of both United Kingdom as well as European Union standards. Professional qualification, there will be no more automatic, very important to see, there will be no more automatic recognition for doctors, nurses, architects, dentists, pharmacists, veterinary doctors, engineers. They will now have to seek recognition in the member state where they wish to practice in. Again, a very important aspect is both the partners, the United Kingdom as well as the European Union. Now, in both the places, whichever professionals we are talking about, whether we are talking about the doctors, whether we are talking about architects, nurse, now they have to seek recognition, like whatever are the requirements. Initially, there were same requirements for United Kingdom and European Union, but now these professionals, they have to meet the required qualification as set by these partners. Now, the next point is, if we speak about the freedom of movement, United Kingdom's national no longer have the freedom to work, study, start a business or live in the European Union. Visa will be required for stays over 90 days. See, initially there was no requirement of any such visa, and the people, the nationals of United Kingdom, they had the freedom to work, study, start a business or live in the European Union without any such preferences. But now there will be a requirement of visa if the stay is over 90 days. Also, the United Kingdom will have to leave the common fisheries policy. See, we have to remember that one of the most important fishing bank region is located in the North Seas. So, when we speak about the fisheries aspect, there used to be a common fishery policy that was between the European Union and the United Kingdom. Now, the United Kingdom will have to leave that common fisheries policy. So, when this agreement took place, it has been said that not everyone in Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Conservative Party might be happy, but yes, there are majority of the people in the party who are happy with this agreement. Initially, we have already seen that the Labour Party has already given the approval to the new framework that was designed by Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and they have welcomed this as an alternative, that this is exactly how the Brexit from European Union should take place. Now, it is expected that this agreement or the deal that has been signed between both the partners will be ratified by the British Parliament, most probably this week or the next one. Now, what exactly is the reason? United Kingdom, it left the European Union on 31st of January 2020. So why exactly the deal took so long? See, when we are speaking about United Kingdom's exit from the European Union, that means there was a lot at the stake. The European Union is United Kingdom's nearest and biggest trading partner. The United Kingdom says the deal covers trade that was worth 668 billion pounds in 2019. While the United Kingdom was in the European Union, companies could buy and sell goods across European Union borders without paying tariff. Now, had deal wouldn't have been signed, the business would have had to start paying these taxes, which definitely would have added to their costs. Now, one of the most important things here, if this deal wasn't signed, so what exactly would have happened? All the businesses which are scattered in both the European Union region as well as in the United Kingdom's region, they should have started paying the taxes, and these extra taxes would have added up to the cost. No deal would have also meant even more border checks, which could have caused delays for lorries transporting products. Now, one more thing, when the deal wasn't signed, that means there has to be constant and more border checks. So with those border checks, there could have been a lot of time which could have been used only for checking, and the transportation of the products would have definitely taken a lot of time. So when the deal is signed, what exactly will happen? It is quite important that both the partners maintain a fair stability with the deal which they have signed. See, the European government too are set to approve the deal that comes into force on January 1st. Like I said, probably this week the deal will be ratified by both the British Parliament as well as by European Union. To be sure, there will be multiple glitches in implementing the complex agreement which guarantees tariff-free trade on most goods between two of the world's largest economic entities. When we speak about the implementation of the deal, it's not going to be that simple. It is going to be a very complex agreement because there is a lot at stake, and these two are one of the world's largest economic entities. It also lays the basis for future cooperation on law enforcement, security, data flows, among other important areas. Some of the other important areas where both the partners have to seek future cooperation is on law enforcement, security issues, data information, etc. etc. Now, before we go ahead, it is quite important for us to actually see what exactly the Brexit was. So when I speak about Brexit, the Brexit is British exit from the European Union. Now, this term has been taken from Grexit, Grexit. Now, this term Grexit, it was coined by two Citigroup's economists in February 2012, and it referred to possible exit of Greece from the European Union. Now, what is European Union? The European Union is a political, trade and economic union founded in the year 1957. It evolved over decades and reached its present model in 1992. There are 51 countries in Europe, out of which 28 countries have signed a treaty to become a part of European Union. So clearly, there are countries in Europe which are not part of European Union. Very important to see, every country in Europe is not part of the European Union. The European Union Treaty provided for a European Parliament and European Council, which consisted of representatives of the member states. European Union members account for 16% of the world import and export. It is also the largest trading bloc in the world, surpassing the United States. One very important information about European Union is that in 2012, the European Union has been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for advancing the causes of peace, reconciliation, democracy, and human rights in Europe. Now, why exactly the campaign, the Leave EU? There was a campaign in United Kingdom that was going on, which was the Leave EU campaign. Now, the Leave campaign, it argues that Britain is losing out a big deal by staying in the European Union. Britain has to pay millions of pounds each week as a contribution to the European budget. The extremely bureaucratic nature of the European Parliament is actually hurting British exporters. There have been constant complaints from the British exporters that the bureaucratic nature of the European Union is actually doing a lot of damage to their businesses. Migration from the European Union into Britain is creating such an imbalance in the welfare schemes of the United Kingdom government. But those who oppose the campaign say that Britain is a net gainer if it stays in the European Union. There are people who are in support of the Leave campaign, but there was another group who was saying that if Britain stays in the European Union, it will be Britain who will be actually in benefit. So a referendum took place. It was Prime Minister David Cameron from the Conservative Party who had promised to hold a referendum for Brexit if he won the 2015 general election. But he always said that he is in the favor of staying. David Cameron, he was always that Britain should remain a member of European Union. So he said he will come up with a referendum whether people want to stay in the European Union or not. A referendum was held on 23rd of June 2016 to decide whether Britain should exit or remain in the European Union. Who all were the eligible voters? All British, Irish and Commonwealth citizens over 18 years who are resident in the United Kingdom, along with the United Kingdom nationals living abroad who have been on the electoral register in the United Kingdom in the past 15 years. Now, what was the result? 51.9% of the voters favored exit of Britain from the European Union. Almost 52% people said that they want Britain to leave the European Union, and it was for the first time since European Union was founded in 1957 that a member country is leaving. Okay. Now, this was the entire scenario with reference to the Brexit. While Europe regrets the separation and looks forward to a new beginning with Britain, Johnson claimed a major political victory in regaining British sovereignty to make its own laws and freedom to engage the world on its own terms. See, European Union has constantly said that they are regretting this separation. They always have wanted Britain to be a part of the European Union. However, if we speak with reference to Boris Johnson's approach, according to him, it's a major political victory and it will help British sovereignty to make laws of its own choice, and they will have a freedom to engage in the world as per they want. Johnson's success should bring to the end of prolonged political division in Britain on the nature of its relationship with the Europe after the Second World War. See, even after when the World War II got ended, there has been since 1945 till today, there were many issues where there were several differences within the political parties of the Britain. Some always said that Britain should stay with European Union. Some were never in favor of such a decision. So after Boris Johnson has established this deal, it is quite obvious and quite clear that the nature of relationship with the Europe has been clearly defined by Prime Minister Boris Johnson. All the 7 Conservative Prime Ministers who preceded Johnson, Theresa May, David Cameron, John Major, Margaret Thatcher, Edward Heath, Harold Macmillan, saw their political careers destroyed by the European question. Now again, if I speak with reference to Boris Johnson, it is one of the most biggest political victories Mr. Boris Johnson has ever seen, because all the predecessors from the Conservative parties before Boris Johnson, actually we have seen that whenever they tried to intervene into the relationship of United Kingdom with European Union, these things, they have destroyed their entire political career. You take any example, you speak about the latest one, Theresa May. Her political career just got ruined over this question of relationship with the European Union. So it can be seen as a decisive victory for Mr. Boris Johnson, that how easily and how tactfully he has handled this entire issue. Britain had voted with a thin margin to leave the European Union in a referendum during the summer of 2016, but few had bet on London's ability to negotiate an amicable separation. I have already told you there were 52% people in favor to leave the European Union, whereas 48%. So the difference was not that high. As he celebrated the deal, Johnson insisted that the agreement brings a new stability and new certainty to a relationship that has been long, fractious and difficult. Although we have left the European Union, Johnson said, Britain will culturally remain emotionally, historically, strategically, geologically attached to Europe. One of the most important things said by Boris Johnson after the deal got over, he said that even though Britain has left the European Union, yet Britain will culturally, emotionally, historically, strategically and geologically remain part of or will always be attached with Europe. The future ahead. The break from Europe will lead to a significant rearrangement of Britain's foreign economic policy and international relations. Now, the most important thing that once Britain has separated from Europe, there will be a challenge before Britain to once again look and stabilize its foreign economic policy and international relations. Now, here we have to see that how exactly Boris Johnson will maintain this decision. Like how actually he will prove that the decision that has been taken and the deal that has been done by Boris Johnson, it actually is beneficial for Britain. See, if we speak about the Brexit with reference to Britain, IMF, they have said a vote to exit the European Union in the referendum, it could leave Britain's economy more than 5% smaller by 2019 than if it stays in the 28 nations club. Now, IMF, it has said that if Britain leaves European Union, so its economy will come down by almost 5% in 2019. Also, Brexit could cause the country's economy to be between 3.8 and 7.5% smaller by 2030. Now, this economy, which almost was suggested by IMF that it will be down by 5% in 2019, they have said that by 2030, the Britain's economy could come down to 3.8 to 7.5%. That means what it could have achieved, the Britain economy would actually be lesser by 3.8 to 7.5%. Also, the pound is expected to fall by around 20%. This would mean that export to the United Kingdom will suffer and imports from the United Kingdom will gain. Export companies operating in the United Kingdom will gain, while import companies will definitely lose. More foreign tourists will visit Britain in coming days as the currency value has fallen. Obviously, the currency value is lower, many people will go there. More foreign students may prefer Britain for higher education as the fees may seem cheaper. Now, one of the most important thing to be noted here is European Union has a currency. Okay, there is a currency known as euro, which has been followed by 19 countries. But in Britain, even though it was a member of European Union, and there are many other countries who are member of European Union, yet they do not allow euro as a currency there. So in Britain, there was a currency of pound sterling. Okay. More foreign students may prefer Britain for higher education as the fees may seem cheaper. European Union citizens in Britain and British living in other European Union nations would have to update their immigration statuses. This is exactly what I have told you, right? So there are lots and lots of challenges that are lying in front of Britain, and Britain has to take care of all these challenges. London is actively negotiating multiple bilateral free trade agreements with major economic partners, trying to reinforce the traditional strategic partnership with the United States and Japan, and leverage historic connections with Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and other Commonwealth nations. United Kingdom has already started. They have actually begun in order to negotiate multiple bilateral free trade agreements with many countries, their traditional partners such as United States of America, Japan, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, many Commonwealth nations, etc. Now, one of the most important aspects of this editorial with reference to India. Now, we all know Boris Johnson is visiting to India as the guest of the Republic Day next month. It offers a tremendous amount of opportunity for Delhi to take a close look at London's post-Brexit plan and make a big push for the transformation of a bilateral relationship that has long performed way below its natural potential. See, there is a great scope between India and Britain trade relations. Yet, these two partners haven't performed to the full potential of what they can achieve. Now, it is up to both the countries that how actually these two countries will make things happen. Now, like we all know that after Brexit, there are several positive impact on India as well as negative impact. So we shall discuss both what exactly will be the impact of Brexit and how beneficial it will be for India if India maintains a healthy and good trade relationship with Britain. Now, most importantly, we have to see that what exactly are the things. Now, first of all, it is to be noted that India is one of the top investors in the United Kingdom. There are about 800 Indian owned companies in the country, which employs roughly 110,000 people. Companies such as Jaguar Land Rover is owned by Tata Group. Many of these firms make investment with the wider European market in the mind. Today, the United Kingdom and Europe, they account for over a quarter of countries' IT exports worth 30 billion. See, both European Union and Britain, they account for almost 25% of India's IT export, and that amounts to almost 30 billion USD. The United Kingdom is the third largest source of foreign direct investment in India and India's largest G20 investor. India is also the third largest source of foreign direct investment to the United Kingdom in terms of number of projects. India invests more in the United Kingdom than in rest of the Europe combined, emerging as United Kingdom's third largest FDI investor. Now, the key sectors where Indians are attracted, they are healthcare, agri-tech, food and drink. Also, it should be noted that in November 2015, Prime Minister Modi has said that as far as India is concerned, if there is an entry point for us to the European Union, so that is the United Kingdom. But however, UK is only India's 12th largest trade partner, way behind other European countries such as Germany and Switzerland. And also, it is to be noted that United Kingdom is among just 7 in 25 top countries with which India enjoys a trade surplus. Now, when we speak about the trade relation between India and United Kingdom, India enjoys a trade surplus when the trade comes between both these countries. Now, what could be the negative aspects of the Brexit for India? India will have to adjust to the changing world order. There may be foreign fund outflow and dollar might rise. Rupee might depreciate because of the double effect of foreign fund outflow and dollar rise. So chances are quite high that when rupee might depreciate, the petrol price and the diesel price, they also might increase. Okay, so these are some of the possibilities. Now, there are many positive aspects as well. There are many who think a weakening British currency will be a good news, like we already saw that if the position of Britain is decreasing after the Brexit, then definitely the pound will also come down, and with that news, the British currency, which is weakening, it might be a good news for India. And India being of an importing country than an exporting nation, the overall effect may turn out positive for India. With low pound value, Indian companies may be able to acquire many high-tech assets. As investors look around the world for safe havens in these turbulent times, India stands out both in terms of stability and of growth. Brexit might give a boost to trade ties between India and United Kingdom. Britain will now be free to discuss a bilateral, like this is the most important thing. Now Britain can discuss a direct bilateral trade pact with India. So viewers, these are some of the important things, and the future to come has many questions. Now we have to see and watch how exactly the policies are being framed between both the countries and how the visit of Prime Minister Boris Johnson is going to helpful for India as well as Britain's trade relation. So viewers, this was with today's editorial analysis. A question that can be framed with reference to today's analysis is, what do you understand by the term Brexit? What are the various causes and possible impact of Brexit on India? So viewers, I hope you liked today's editorial analysis. Thank you very much.